Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus entered a village where a woman whose name was Martha welcomed him. She had a sister named Mary, who sat beside the Lord at his feet, listening to him speak. Martha, burdened with much serving, came to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me by myself to do the serving? Tell her to help me." The Lord said to her in reply, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and worried about many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, and it will not be taken from her." The Gospel of the Lord. Good morning. Today we are celebrating the 16th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year C, and I think that both the first reading and the Gospel have something significant to say about the virtue, the charism of hospitality. In the first reading, we heard about Abraham greeting these sort of three strangers who show up, and he offers them food and drink, and his wife Sarah is a principal player in this great service of hospitality to these strangers. And we know the rest of the story. They are eventually rewarded. She becomes pregnant and gives birth. And so there's a kind of reward of goodness because of the hospitality that they have offered to these three strangers. And the gospel carries a similar theme of hospitality when Jesus visits the home of Martha and Mary. These were his friends, the sisters of Lazarus, who lived in Bethany. And we see them at various times in the gospel, and they were apparently good friends of Jesus, and he perhaps often stopped in Bethany as he was traveling between Nazareth and Jerusalem, Bethany being just a little outside of Jerusalem. So he stops there, and we get this beautiful image of Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus and just giving him all of the attention that he deserved, perhaps, and that she wanted to honor him with. And Martha is busy, like in the kitchen, trying to get food ready and this and that prepared, and she's a little annoyed at her sister because she's not helping. And Martha complains to Jesus about this, but Jesus says, "Oh, but Martha, you're anxious about many things. Mary's chosen the better part." And so I think that as we contemplate these readings for today, we might ask, well, what does this have to do with us, and how do we respond to the message that's given in these gospel readings? And if you think about the word hospitality, which is really the central theme of both of these readings, I think that if we look into the kind of the meaning of the word hospitality, it has something to do not just simply with welcoming guests, although that's obviously a very big part of it. It also has something to do with the perception that the guest has as he or she is welcomed by the one who is the host. So hospitality in its essence really is an act of communication, of cooperation, of interaction between the host and the guest. And it is something that creates good feelings or wellness. The word hospitality is similar to the word host, or even hospital, where people go to receive treatment and hopefully become better through long suffering. And so we are called by these readings to think about our own willingness to be hospitable, but hospitable in the faith sense. What does this mean? Well, obviously in the first reading today, Abraham has been called by God to do spectacular things, and God, you might say, tests him. he and his wife Sarah, they are given the opportunity to show how much they care for other people, even strangers who come to their door. And this is a sign that Abraham is prepared and ready to embrace his role as one who welcomes the stranger and is the presence of God, you might say, in his own way, to people who come to him, which is a major part of his ministry, you could say. Jesus is both the host and the guest, in a sense, as he keeps company with Mary and Martha. He's present to Mary in a special way, and you might even say present to Martha because he challenges her to think about the importance of what she's doing. And what does this have to do with us? I think that we might see ourselves in both the role of the one who is giving hospitality and those who receive hospitality, and because they are interactive and they go together. From a Christian perspective, and specifically from a Catholic perspective, I think that as we gather in the church to celebrate the Mass, we, in a real sense, are guests in God's house. God welcomes us to this place and wants to serve us and wants to fill us with his presence and his love. But in doing so, he also challenges us to imitate what he does, which is exactly what Jesus does as he visits Martha and Mary. He's present to them, he's serving them, he is affirming them, showing them love, but he also challenges both Mary and Martha in their own way to respond in kind. And so as we come to celebrate the Mass and to gather around the altar to receive this great gift that we call the Eucharist, this is the presence of God given to us. This is Jesus himself showing us, you might say, the greatest type of hospitality, because he gives himself completely to us, totally, unconditionally. And he, in doing that, shows us the love of the Father who loves each one of us more than we can possibly imagine. So Jesus shows us hospitality, in a sense, as we gather for this Mass. But the challenge is that we are called to imitate what we receive. So in becoming the guests in this place, we are also challenged to be the host, not just here as we gather together in community, but on the other side of the church doors. We're called to live our lives in such a way that we welcome the stranger like Abraham did, that we allow for those who come to us to sit at our feet if necessary, or to show their devotion to whatever we might be doing by serving us as we do the same for them. Hospitality is interactive, it's interrelational, and that's certainly true as we gather for the Mass. Today, as we celebrate this great sacrament and mystery of God's love, let's remember that as we are welcomed here and we're called to welcome others to join us, we're also called to go back out into the ordinary, everyday activities of our lives and put into practice the welcome and the love that we have received in this place. May we always be hospitable to those who come to us in their need. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. Amen.